Broncos country, what is going on? We got that 10-game winning streak. Feeling we're going to break down our dominant win over the Vegas Raiders, talk about the Chiefs' kingdom crumbling, and of course, talk a little bit about the Packers matchup we got coming up. Before I get into the intros, I want to say thank you to Kalshi for sponsoring the channel. David Talks Broncos. Use the code DTB. Get yourself a $10 bonus when you deposit 10. And hey, let's make some money on the Broncos beating the Chiefs here in Arrowhead, because that's how I'm feeling about it. So, yeah, this is going to be a great episode. First off, we have to make a warm welcome back to Kodiak. Hey, got a new setup in the studio, got a brand new nose, dude. How are you doing? How are you feeling after this Broncos victory?
Man, I'm feeling great. I miss being on with y'all. You know, I was itching to get on with Mark and Jeremy yesterday. I still didn't have my splints out, but my nose is fixed. My nose is healed. And I'm feeling even better, especially now that the Broncos brought it home. So huge shout out to y'all. Shout out to Hydro for acknowledging me in the chat. But yeah, happy to be back, y'all.
Dude, let's go. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all be sure, smash that like, share this with Broncos country, get in the comments, subscribe to all the channels, and let's go ahead and dive into it. We'll start with Mark and work our way around. What is your first takeaway from this Broncos 24-17 victory over the Raiders? Yes, give it to us.
Yeah, a big thing, man, was the run game. RJ Harvey. Do we have our bell cow back? Is he trending in that direction? I thought he looked awesome. Loved the way that he was running. Loved the way that we utilized him. He had 23 touches, and yeah, it was great to see, man. And I think that it wasn't a fluke that we had. Was it either 4 or 5 drives of 10+ plays? I think we had 4 drives of 10+ plays and 1 drive of 9 plays. Amazing old school type of football. And I think that it had a lot to do with our commitment to the run and RJ Harvey. So that was my big takeaway. Second takeaway is that the Raiders are absolute cheeks. Absolutely terrible.
Dude, they're awful. All right. Kodiak, give us one takeaway you got from our victory.
Yeah, I guess the only takeaway is, I guess this is how I want the Broncos to play football. Okay. You know, I came into this year thinking that with the additions of Ingram and Dobbins and, you know, the upgraded run game, I thought that we were going to be a much more like possession oriented team. I thought we'd go a lot 3 and out, a lot less on the offensive side of the ball coming into this year. But yesterday, this was a perfect example of what I thought would be on offense. You know, we had 2 8-minute drives, you know, 1 10-minute drive. You know, Mark alluded to the fact that we were just churning, and this is how I want us to play football. And I've been saying all this whole year that we had such an explosive offense last year. Where did that go? Well, I don't care if we can play possession. You know, at one point during this football game, we were like 7 for 9 on third downs, you know, and also we had 72 total plays ran and 24 first downs. So every 1 out of 3 plays that we ran was ended up in a first down. So that's how I want the Broncos to play football. And honestly, you guys might think I'm crazy, but this is the game that sold me on being the team that could actually win the Super Bowl. Like, just the style of play, it sold me.
Love it.
I love that, man. Oh, Jeremy, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to, I said that's interesting. That was the game. To me, my biggest takeaway is that Sean Payton is the governor of the Denver Broncos, and not because he's an elected official or any of that kind of governor, but a governor like you have on your car that doesn't let you go past a certain mile per hour. He's keeping it right now at a certain speed. And he's just like, all right, this, we're going to, up until we have to, we're going to just work on what we need to work on. This is going to be basically like an organized practice for us. And I mean, that was he could have cranked it up anytime he wanted to yesterday. He did not. He was just like, we are going to slowly choke this team to death. And if we don't need to turn it up, we're not going to. We're going to save it. And that game really proved to me like he's got way more like his fingers on the controls more than I even thought.
Man, it was dominant. When was the last time we had 40 minutes of time of possession, man? Maybe it's going
I
back to the 2015 season. We need a stat guy on here.
yeah, I have no idea. I can't even think about that.
There's no way the 2015 offense was that good in certain games to where they held the ball for that long.
Yeah, I guess that's true, man. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into our stars of the game. You know, the stock up, stock down, all of that. Jeremy, this time let's have you start it off, and we can kind of work our way around. Who's somebody that you want to shout out for either a positive or a negative reason?
Yeah, I'll do the low hanging fruit. It's got to be RJ Harvey on that one. We were very concerned and not sure what we had going into a few weeks ago when Dobbins went down, and that was one of those performances. And you could tell early it was that third down where Bo checked it down and he broke a tackle and then picked up a first down that ended up being the first touchdown drive that really set the tone. He ran hard. He didn't try to bounce it outside. He was effective in the pass game. He was effective in the pass protection. He proved yesterday, and we got to see why he was drafted 60th overall and that he can be the guy we hope he can be down the stretch and for this playoff run.
Yeah. Dude, how about him? I know a lot of it has to do with the offensive line, but how about him outplaying Ashton Genty? Not pick 6, but pick what, 60, 62? I don't even remember what he was, but
60th, yeah.
He was 60th, dude?
Yep.
Man, Broncos win again.
And
huh? All right, Kodiak.
Pause.
Where are you going?
Where am I going? Well, I've already gotten a couple shout outs in the chat for my jersey in the background, my new jerseys in the background. Obviously, Hufanga and Palczewski, so I got to give a huge mile high salute to Palczewski out there. But if you guys are wondering where I get my jerseys, China. They're very cheap. They take a few weeks to come in, but yeah, that's where you get them. Either way, huge shout out. The guys who I typically find myself not really liking are, guys, the role guys, the guys that do the unsexy things. Like, I want to shout out Lil Jordan Humphrey in particular and Ab Troutman in particular. Okay. I wasn't very excited when we re-signed Lil Jordan Humphrey. I was like, this guy's a walking, talking turnover. But, the way Sean Payton runs his schemes is very old school. Okay, we're going to have a fullback. We're always going to have dudes that can block at tight end and wide receiver. Even if you think it's a deterrent to our overall roster quality, some of the names that we've had on our rosters, like, I don't know, Mercedes Lewis is probably not going to be there on many other teams. That being said, the buy-in you get from all the role players is fantastic. So I just want to shout out Lil Jordan Humphrey, Troutman, Mercedes Lewis, and there's another one who I'll let one of you, another role guy, wink, wink, who I think one of you will take. So I'm not going to shout about yet, but huge part of the offense, and if those guys can click in December, then we're going to be a tough team to beat.
Facts. Mark, who you got?
Yeah, you mentioned an Adam, but you mentioned the wrong Adam, and that is my guy, Adam Prentice, again, man. Talk about a role guy. Talk about somebody you need to add to that jersey collection. I think that we need to get a Prentice jersey because, man, he is fun. I really wish that he scored on that one where he had broken out. That would have been awesome. But every single time he touches the ball, this dude gets a first down. He does all the dirty work. Did a great job lead blocking. Really just love the physicality that Adam Prentice brings. And it brings kind of that old school nature to this offense, which I love. It might be boring to some, but I mean, I'm all about it. So I thought Adam Prentice was awesome, man.
Yeah. How about just him becoming everything we were hoping Andy Janovich would be, right? If we had 22 Adam Prentices, imagine where we'd be. We'd probably be undefeated. We're not getting a leverage call out there, right? With Adam Prentice. So yeah, I want to see him used more as like a passing target. He just he reminds me kind of Howard Griffith, right? Back in those days a little bit. Just get him the ball, see what he can do. I guess my stock up, man, I'll leave Bo Nix for somebody else, dude. We only had Crawshaw on there one time. We only punted once the whole game, I believe. But it was a beautiful punt. You'll love to see it. He should be a Pro Bowl punter. He might even be, all pro, depending on how it goes. But one punt right at the 5-yard line, And I can't remember if the Raiders actually drove the length of the field there. I don't think they did, right? Surely that wasn't the Kenny Pickett one. But anyways, he did a fantastic job. Stock up for punter Jeremy Crawshaw. Jeremy, who are you going with?
Yeah, dude, Adam Prentice, just to piggyback off him real quick. He needs like a walkout song, and it should be the song from The Apprentice. Remember that? Did you guys ever watch that? The Money song?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's be like how Johnny Manziel used to do it because he's a apprentice, so that's like perfect. Come on. And he can, dude, like just to piggyback on the pass game, like when he does get a little screen out there, he will catch it and then like murder a safety. like I would not want to be a safety trying to tackle him. They'll get tricked. So yeah, no, he's been absolutely legit. That third and 2 or less, where they do like the I formation, just like fullback dive it's been 100%.
I thought he was going to run that fullback dive for a touchdown yesterday.
Dude, I rewatched that. He goes to stiff arm the guy, but he put it out too early, and the guy pushed his hand down, and then he kind of like leaned down and went down. I was like, oh, if he could have just timed it slightly better, there's no way that guy's tackling him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you left Bo for somebody else. I'll pick him up. Like he was absolute money yesterday. Like calm, just in control, man. Like that was as smooth as you could get. There was no passes at all that were like, what were you looking at? I mean, what was his pass percentage? It was like 31, 38 or 30, something crazy.
He completed 81.6% of his passes.
Yeah. I mean, the second rookie to ever have a 10-game or the second time a second-year player or younger has ever had a 10-game winning streak. And that's with a guy named John Elway who did that as well. So, I mean, going on the road and just finding the moment and just meeting the moment, not getting like caught up in a trap game or this is going to be too easy. Like what a great leader and just handling his business, you know? And I like the fact that on that second down at goal, on the first drive, when he could have ran it in and didn't. And then I felt like for Sean to dial up a quarterback run after that, where he scored, and that score was so similar to the one he did in college against CU, because that was the first time I ever saw Bo Nix was when I was watching CU was undefeated, Oregon was undefeated. They met up, and I went to CU. I'm a CU fan, right? But like Bo Nix and the Oregon Ducks absolutely destroyed us on that day, but he had a run in just similar to that. And I was talking to Mark yesterday. Let me ask you guys a question. Does it feel like Sean took that delay of game on purpose? So it was like goal from the 3 just to get it back a little bit so he could run that play, because it felt like a weird delay of game right there.
I get what you're saying, because I get it. Like if you ever play Madden or the college football game, like it's hard to play red zone offense inside the 3 and get like the looks you want, especially, but that's more of a thing when it comes to like passing. So I don't know, but I'm curious to hear what the other guys think.
Did you notice that, David?
I thought it was a good point you brought up yesterday, but Bo did talk about it actually on the post game, and he had just said like it was unfortunate we took a penalty there. It kind of made it a little bit more difficult, so it didn't seem like it was on purpose. But would he say it was on purpose? That Bo's not the type where he would like tip that either.
Sean better say it was on purpose.
Sean would say it's on purpose.
Sean would say he's like, look how much smarter I am than everybody else in the NFL.
Yeah.
How about that? So, it was interesting, but I love that call. It was great. Shout out here to Mike Carmelini over at Mile High Monsters. Subscribe to him. But he said the last time the Broncos had the time of possession, like 40 minutes in a game, it was 2013 against the Titans, where we rocking the backfield with Willis McGahee and Noshawn Marino.
That was it was Ronnie. Well, that was Ronnie.
Or was Ronnie Hillman?
Maybe it was Ronnie. I don't know actually, but that was peak Payton era, season. Yeah.
Oh yeah, McGahee was out of there by 2013. Yeah, so it was Noshawn and maybe a little bit of Ronnie Hillman. Yeah. Man. Thank you, Mike, for that stat. All right, who are we on for stock up?
Me. All right. It's interesting from the guys you expect it from, but we literally did not know if this guy was going to play or not. Thursday we got a pretty good scare with Zach Allen, getting on the injury report with a calf strain. And then he just comes in and he just absolutely wrecks the interior of the Raiders. And I'm just like, what? Like, dude, this guy was on the injury report. He was like, was he a DMP or was he limited? I forget on Thursday. You guys probably
DMP
remember better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, he comes in and he has injured Geno Smith 3 times this year.
Dude, that's
Maybe
terrible.
4. He injured him. No. He's injured him 4 times this year because he injured him twice in our first game and then he knocked him out of the game. And then he injured him twice yesterday, once on the hand, once on the shoulder. So obviously it's unfortunate. I think it's funny. Like, it's not funny to see guys get hurt, but it is a funny coincidence. But yeah, huge shout out to Zach Allen. Once again, you expect it from the guys that you expect it from. And injury report on Thursday, no problem. Shows up and does all pro things yesterday.
Facts. Mark.
Well, firstly, before I get to my stock up, would you guys believe there was actually a leverage penalty just called a little bit ago against?
I was
Really?
wondering.
against the
I'm like
Chargers?
keeping my eye
Yeah.
on it. What
It's
happened?
probably that same official.
Yeah, the Chargers were going to kick a field goal, then there was a leverage call, and so they gave him the first down, but then they still settled for a field goal. This game's been an eyesore. Stock up is Marvin Mims, man. The guy's just a stud. All he does is make plays. We need to get him involved in offense more. But I saw something on Twitter. I wanted to shout him out, but I didn't bookmark it like an idiot. But I think he was like the first player in or no, I think it might have been Mike Carmelini actually. Let me make sure I get it right. But anyways, while I pull that up, Marvin Mims is just, unbelievable punt return. The way he affects the game and is always staying positive too, man, is kind of the coolest thing when it comes to just, he doesn't really get the ball that much, but all he does is make plays every time he does. So you got to love that. But yeah, it was Mike Carmelini. So he said, Marvin Mims has scored a receiving touchdown, obviously 8 of those, a rushing touchdown, a kick return touchdown, and a punt return touchdown, which is obviously super rare. And his average on punt returns is higher than Hall of Famers Devin Hester up to this point in his career. Yeah. So super special player on that. So wanted to give a shout out to Marvin Mims. Another shout out that I have is, another stock up that I have is the game manager label, because I never understood it. It always drove me crazy. I always talked about how Peyton Manning and Tom Brady were the best game managers ever. And Bo Nix talked about it. He is a game manager. Every quarterback is a game manager. You're either a good one or a bad one. And I think we have a very, very good one because he seems to be able to manage the game super well. Very dumb label. Don't know, why it was ever a thing. I think maybe people were like, oh, you're not flashy or whatever. But the best quarterbacks manage the game well. Anybody in a management position knows that you just have to manage to the situation and make the best out of it. Mm-hmm. And that's what we got. We got a damn good game manager. So, everyone wants to come up with nicknames. Like Drake May's nickname is Drake May, which is obviously kind of weird. So we should do Bo, game manager, Nix. I'm good with that.
Dude, I love it. Yeah, Mr. Keith coming in here saying, I love that Bo embraced game manager. I'm right there with you, man. When you just manage the game, you're going to have the time of possession. You're going to move the ball. You don't need to put up 35 points, man. You don't need to be doing that every game. So a few more things here. Seth Lloyd said, also stock up JL Skinner. I see 34 on every special teams play. Mm-hmm. He laid down the block for Mims on that touchdown. Prentice and Troutman were also everywhere. This is funny. Bo Nix as the Gary Harris reference. Yes. 82% completion for Bo Nix. Yeah, it was hitting everything in stride. He was in rhythm. And Martin bringing this up, could coach's preference for tall wide receivers be keeping Mims off the field? They very well could. I mean, he likes tall wide receivers, but I got to shout out, man. Got to shout out Cortland Sutton, baby. My DHgate jersey came in. It was awesome. By the way, shout out to Kodiak for the recommendation. They should sponsor you. Yes, we got our favorite Chiefs fan, Zigzag, in the chat. What's up, 6'7", baby? But Cortland Sutton, we targeted him more than Troy Franklin, and our offense continued to move. And I think that was very important. 10 targets, multiple third down conversions. He was great. And I got some more thoughts on the receiving core, I think, like moving forward, but let's continue to just incorporate targets to court, man. He was coming down with pretty much everything. There was one that I thought where PI was going to be called, and he didn't end up catching that, kind of towards the left sideline. But he was great. And I think he should be in striking distance of another 1,000-yard season. So, guys, any other shout outs right now? I know that we've covered kind of most of the bases, but I definitely want to hear y'all if you got more thoughts.
Yeah, I got a couple real quick. I just want to say welcome back, Jonah Ellis. I thought he played really hard and played really well. He had been out for a really long time and he brought it. I got a big stock down, and that was like the ref / game clock operator / like whoever measures out like yardage. That game was so infuriating. And another big, we'll put sports betting in there too. Anybody that bet the over of that game or the whatever, like got completely screwed. Partly because the game clock operator, like I don't know what was going on. They tried to tick off the last part of the half, right before the half. They tried to add seconds to the final field goal to give them an extra one. It was like the whole thing was just a debacle. There was one where it was like Bo picked up the first down. Then they said it was 4th and inches. Then they said it was 4th and 2. Then they moved it back to 4th and 1. And I was like, nothing's changed. It's changed 4 times. How? So I don't know what was going on with that game, but that was the one frustrating thing. I was just like, can we get just capable people?
Who laid on him for like that delay of game call?
Brandon Jones.
Yeah.
Dude, why? The clock was about to run out, dude.
It didn't even matter though. Like the fact that if they wouldn't have taken a different angle, it's the video people decided to take a close up and you couldn't really tell what he did. If they would have just stayed wide, every single person who saw that would have been like, that's not anything. It was nothing. I mean, he laid on him for maybe half a second. There was nothing to it.
Maybe Brandon Jones had the over.
Maybe he did. Yeah. They should investigate.
Because he was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to delay. Because I mean, it's an annoying call because it's like, dude, they're going to run out of clock anyways. But I think it was the right call. If you're asking me, like, just don't do that.
They all do that.
Again, very annoying because it looked like we didn't whoop them up like we actually did.
Dude.
It's the same thing I say about Nick Bonito every year. Every week, he does something extra that gets called that shouldn't probably get called, but it does. And it's just like, just don't do it. And that's how I feel about the Jones thing. He just didn't need to. There's no way.
I was so annoyed by that.
Me too.
The whole sequence. And dude, what the hell's up with you, Pete Carroll, kicking the field goal, dude? You're such a loser, man. Dude, he's like Joe Biden. I see all the memes of him as Joe Biden. And I'm like, dude, such a Joe Biden thing. Kick the field goal right there. Dude, just throw for the touchdown, man.
He thought the game was tied. That's why.
Yeah.
He didn't know where he was.
Literally.
Yeah.
No, but I did want to like mention Brandon Jones because I do have 2 like small stock downs, but I just want to hear what you guys think. Like, I'm not here to rip on these guys because I love both these guys. But Brandon Jones, obviously, he's one of those guys that you just expect high level play and you pretty much just always get it. He's one of those guys that when you don't notice him, it's a good thing. He's like the dictionary definition of that because throughout his time here, besides the picks that he got against Colts and Tampa last year, I'll be watching the games. Then afterwards, I'll be like, oh, Brandon Jones is on our team and he played a good game. But, the fourth quarter, I think he's largely responsible for why that went bad. I saw a lot of people dunking on Riley Moss again. That didn't get touchdown. That wasn't his fault. It was Brandon Jones' fault. Brandon Jones didn't play deep enough. And also, just laying on the guy, yeah, that was odd. That was really odd. But because they were not spotting the ball in 5 seconds, the game was over. Okay,
So stupid.
you touch Trey Tucker down in bounds. They are not spotting the ball, 40 yards up the field in 6 seconds. But another guy that I wanted to mention is like Troy Franklin. Like, holy cow, man. This guy's like Riley Moss, but the offensive version. Okay. I don't mind the bobble play because that was honestly just a really good hit by the Raiders defender that was well timed or whatever. But the one where Troy Franklin had that like hit him in either the chest or the face mask, I feel like there's one of those like every week. And once again, I love Troy Franklin. I think, we obviously had big expectations for him coming into the year, but sometimes there's road bumps, and sometimes, once again, you talk about quarterback development not being linear this year with Bo Nix. Wide receiver development's not linear either, especially one you took in the 4th round. So, yeah, but I just want to hear your thoughts about that in general, that situation.
He's like the first wide receiver I've seen in a long time that's better at catching with his chest than his hands. And I'm like, stop letting it, just catch it with your hands, dude. I'm like, keep preaching, like, catch it with your hands and bring it in. Every time he tries to catch it with his hands, it's like drop, miss. If he catches it with his chest, for some reason, he's catching those. Like the bobble play was an unbelievable way to like hold on to that. And I don't know how they friggin' figured that out. But if they have an ability to take something away from us, they will. But like, yeah, it's like, how do you miss the easy ones and make the hard ones? But
dude, Pat Bryant needs to be getting more targets than him moving forward. And yeah, Troy can still develop. I'm not out on Troy, but I'm out on him being our number one option, being our number one targeted guy game after game. Like, I'm out on that. I think that right now he should probably profile to be that number 3 wide receiver for us. And yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more Pat Bryant on the outside. And Mark, I'm curious if you feel that way too with how he played.
I think Pat Bryant should get the most targets of anybody at this point. I mean, because at one point, Troy Franklin had the most targets on the team. That doesn't make any sense. All Pat Bryant does is make plays, make life for Cortland Sutton and Evan Ingram and everyone a lot easier. So yeah, I'm all for that. In terms of Brandon Jones, I thought I was pretty down on him as a stock down. A stock down that I have too is Pat Surtain. I mean, let's be honest, he hasn't really been very good since he's come back from injury. So I'm hoping that it's just that, or it's rusty, but he hasn't really seemed like himself. Crazy amount of penalties that he's been drawing. Kind of looks a little bit hesitant still. And you can make the argument that since he's come back, this defense hasn't been as good. Obviously, I don't think it's his fault, but I'd like to see Pat Surtain turn back into the Pat Surtain that we know, because I felt like he's been a little bit disappointing. But overall, yeah. I mean, there's not really too many other stock downs that I can think of.
I got one tiny one.
Oh yeah,
it was Talanoa Hufanga just felt like half a step slow yesterday for some reason. I don't know what it was, but he just wasn't. He was everywhere the couple games before, and yesterday it just felt like, man, he was just right there. But that's a minor gripe, really. Yeah. That was the only thing.
Yeah, like he's been a little. He hasn't been Hufanga since the bye, I want to say, but great opportunity for us to turn it around against Green Bay for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I got any stock downs from this game that we haven't mentioned. I can't, dude. We just dominated. Brandon Jones stock down because I lost like $5. Thanks. $5. Yeah. I just mess with a little fun money over there on Kalshi, guys. Code DTB. But yeah, we got some other things, some other great comments in here that I think are worth discussing, and they're kind of in line with some of the things that we were texting about moving forward. But this is a really good comment here from Derek. He said, I still have hope that Payton is going to unleash Bo's legs in the playoffs and catch these teams off guard. Sometimes it seems Bo wants to go out of his way to not run. Yeah, I mean, he had a broken back around this point last year, right? So, yeah, I think he's done a good job of avoiding hits. I was taking a look last night at all the NFL stats, and there's some guys that are like below him, but not anybody that's been a consistent starter for like every game this season or like 90% starts. Dude, he's taken the least amount of sacks in the NFL when you're just looking at the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I think it's only like 18 sacks on the year. So he's done a good job of not getting hit often, which is great. And building off that, I guess this is a question, what do you guys think about this run game? Will we see more of Bo? How far do you think the Broncos are going to go? Honestly, honestly. Yeah, what I don't know. Kodiak, what do you think about these questions here?
Do you want to start with the run game or how far we think the team will go?
Go, how far the team will go.
I'm telling you what, if we can hang on to this 1 seed, we'll be tough. We'll be a really tough out. But I haven't really thought about how far I think we're going to go. It's easy for me in the preseason to be like, all right, I think we're going to win these games. We're going to lose these games. And then bam, bam, bam. Because, that's before the year begins. You don't have real shit to talk about. But when you come on week by week and you can actually watch the games and you understand, the nuances of the team and like how the offense is playing, how the defense is playing. I don't know. That's really interesting because I think I don't have a finite prediction of how far they can go. I have, ideas in my head about who I want us to match up against in the playoffs, who I don't want us to match up against. So I'm not going to give you a very exciting answer. This could probably be better reserved for one of the other people that, I don't know. Do you guys have any like predictions? Have you guys thought about where you see us winding up this year?
I got asked this like 3 times this weekend. And honestly, I don't make predictions like that because we can go as far as we want to go. I honestly feel like there's not a team we can't beat. Like you said, if we get the first seed, if we get home field, we're going to be really tough. I do feel like Sean has another gear and he's saving things right now. This last month is going to tell us a lot because it's one thing to beat the Raiders and Washington, and those are both road games. That's nothing to sneeze at. Like, you handled your business, but like this last 4 is going to be a test. I mean, it's Kansas City in Kansas City. It's Jaguars at home, Green Bay at home, and Chargers. So like in a month, we're going to know a lot more right now than we do right now. But I honestly do feel like going into this season, we were all kind of in agreement. Like, this was probably not a Super Bowl, run type of team yet, because it's only year 2 of Bo and young team and all that. And now it's like, oh, we're in an opportunity and we're 11-2 or whatever. You have to be looking at the Super Bowl now. Like, you have to have those kind of expectations because you don't always get this. A lot of times you go, oh, well, we'll be back. Like Dan Marino, like went to the Super Bowl early and then never was able to get there again. You have to take advantage when you have the chance. This season is wide open. Why not us? That's the way you have to look at this. And I think we can be, I honestly feel like this team has proved after these last 10 games that they are mentally tough enough to beat anybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, we both beat both Super Bowl, participants, the number 1 offense, the number 1 defense. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's no reason why we can't win the Super Bowl this year, or at least get there for sure. I mean, we have all the makings in terms of the way that our offense has been playing, the way that obviously the kind of defense that we have. And somebody said in the comments earlier, I don't think this team is peaked whatsoever. And I think that's the scary part. Like, I think we're really just starting to scratch the surface of the team that we can be. It's a wide open NFL this year, man. So it's a great, year to take advantage of it. And someone else in the comments made another good point too, that, dude, we haven't even been turning the ball, like forcing turnovers at all. Like, we've been among the worst in the NFL in terms of forcing turnovers, having such a good defense. And I feel like that's something that's going to turn around and they're going to start coming in bunches. And if they start coming at the right time, man, or like in the playoffs, especially, we're going to be an incredibly tough team to be, man. Mm-hmm. Incredibly tough. So there's no reason why we can't. There really isn't. I mean, we kind of, I think this team has ticked the boxes off of everything. So curious what you think, David.
I think that we all thought Sean Payton was a little crazy in preseason for saying that this was one of the teams that he felt could win a Super Bowl right now, right? We're like, okay, I think when we talked about expectations coming into the year, we're like, let's win a playoff game. Like, we were just happy to be at the dance last year, and this year, let's win a playoff game. It'd be great. This team has far exceeded, those expectations, and they don't really have a glaring weakness on the team right now. And someone said, hey, maybe we might get Dobbins back for the playoff run. I mean, wouldn't that just be insane? But Harvey's done a great job. And I just feel I feel the same feeling that I felt like in 2015 with this team. And I call this a prediction. I feel like I've said it on here before, but if we get the number 1 seed in the AFC, I think we go to the Super Bowl. Like, it's just hard for me to see us dropping 2 home games. I think we can beat anybody in the AFC, and the Patriots aren't battle tested like we are. That's how I feel about it. So I think this could be a special year. Didn't Ben Roethlisberger win his Super Bowl, his second season in the NFL?
Yep.
And he was much worse than Bo's looked.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he could
came into Denver too and beat
Oh,
us.
that one hurt.
Oh,
That
yeah,
one hurt.
that's right.
That's
'Cause
when
we
Jake
had that
Plummer
great-
We
went-
were the number 2 seed, and
Jake
and
Plummer.
were
We had
worried
beat
about
New
Indy.
England. Yeah.
Yeah, we were worried
Jake
about
went
Indy,
full
and
effort
then
mode.
Indy lost, and we're like, oh my god, we got this game at home,
Yeah.
and we got absolutely boat raced. So
Plummer
that's the
threw,
thing,
like,
man.
3
Is
picks.
that's the thing is like you never know what happens in a league. But I'm curious. I want to get you guys' thoughts on something. Maybe we'll start with David, since David always goes last. Do you feel like this team has to lose a game?
Nah. I know some of the players have talked about that, but I just I think
Like, it doesn't
should-
worry you that, like, okay, let's say if we win out, that would be a 14-game win streak going into the playoffs. We'd be the number 1 seed. Doesn't it freak you out? Like, oh man, this team's won 14 straight.
Oh no, I don't really think about. I'm not
You
really.
don't? Maybe I
nervous
think about it
that.
too much, because that's like all I think about.
Yeah, because again, I just think that they should know after winning 14 games they can go win a 15th one. Man, I'm not stressing about any of that. Really. Now, if we lose, I guess I will moving forward. I'll care about it, but I think because we win in different ways too, it makes me a little bit less nervous about that. Like in 2013, when we won all those games, you kind of knew the formula that we kind of had to play with. And I guess in 2015, for that matter, too, our offense has a lot more upside than that 2015 offense did. So, yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. What say you guys?
I'm a little I'll just say, like, if I had my pick, if we could say, okay, we're gonna lose a game, but we're still gonna have the number 1 seed, or you're not gonna lose a game and you get the number 1 seed, I would prefer to lose a game and have the number 1 seed.
Me too.
Personally. But I will say this with a caveat. Normally, when you win 10 games in a row, and at that point it would be 14 in a row, you would be so freaking hyped by everybody and your mom about how great you are that's what I wouldn't want. This team, for whatever reason, and there's people in our chat right now saying it, this team is not hyped at all. Like, we could win 14 in a row and people be like, yeah, whatever.
Like, leading the league in penalties, we're 11-2 right now.
Yeah. I mean, so that's the one thing that I would say is, like, even if we do get to 14 or win 14 in a row, I don't think we'll get full of ourselves because everybody says we're crap anyway. So, like, if that's the only way I would choose to be like, okay, I'll do it. But, like, I'm with you most of the time. Like, streaks are not good. I don't like, oh, this team hasn't lost since blah, blah, blah. Or this team, just like, I don't want any of that noise. Just focus on it. Because then it's added pressure for no reason. You know, I remember, like, the winning that second Super Bowl in 98 or 99 or whatever. And the guys, when they won it, they said in the first Super Bowl, they were like, it was euphoric. It was the greatest feeling I ever felt. And then defending the championship and winning it, they were like just relieved. And they were just like, I'm not even going to celebrate this. I'm just going to go to bed because I was just exhausted. That's kind of what streaks are. There's an extra level of difficulty. You're up on a high wire that you kind of feel like, so if I could prefer to have it one way or the other, as long as we get the number 1 seed, I'll take a loss just to focus myself.
Here's what I do have to say about that. Yes, I do think this team needs to lose a game to maybe stay grounded. But the good thing is, not only did we already lose one of those games, we already lost 2 of those games. We lost 2 of those games, early in the season to go to 1-2, and they were probably the worst possible losses you could have had. Okay. Colts on a freaking leverage penalty, and then the Chargers, defense was absolutely exhausted. Defense did a heck of a job that whole game, but they were bearing the weight of the offense for pretty much the whole game. Then they just took a bunch of stupid penalties. And that's what propelled us to be so good this upcoming year. Like, I truly don't think we're as good in these late games had we not learned from those mistakes of the Colts game, had we not learned from the mistakes of the Chargers game. So, Mark, to answer your question, yes, I do think the team needs to lose the game, but I think they already lost it. And I already think they lost 1 and 2 of those games that they needed to keep us grounded.
Mark,
Yeah, I
would
mean,
you?
I just feel like I don't remember those losses. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, would you rather the team lose a game and have to play New England on the road, or be the number 2 seed and play a wild card weekend, or would you rather have them just win out and let's say the Broncos and Patriots just win out, but we would finish with the number 1 seed because of the tiebreaker? Which one would you rather have? I'm curious.
No, I mean, I think you're always going to choose the 1 seed. Anytime you sorry, I really needed Lad McConkey to catch a football. I was like kind of panicking. If Endoplasmic is in here, he knows why. Sorry, that was like totally bad. But anyways, he finally did. So no, I think you always choose the number 1 seed regardless of streak because you're playing 50% less games. It's a massive. It means a lot. And the thing is like, I don't know, man. This could obviously be me just like overthinking a lot, right? Because the only real season the Broncos had, aside from 1998 when we had a huge streak, but I think we even lost late in the year. We did because we went 13-0, right, or 12-0. They were talking about a perfect season. We ended up losing 2 games late in the year, and that kind of like reinvigorated the team. So not even that year. The only year that we went into the playoffs on a big time streak was in 2012, and then we lost to Baltimore in the first game. And so maybe I'm just scarred by that. I don't know how history works with a lot of teams like that in terms of like the ones that go in, super hot. Like, I even remember like the 16-0 Patriots, in the playoffs, man. They ended up winning the 2 games and going to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they lost that one, but they didn't even look good then. It's like it's a big burden to carry. And even though we have playoff experience from last year, it's way different this year, dude. Way different. Because what really, like last year, it was like we were playing with house money. There was no pressure on us.
Yeah.
This year, it's going to be, there's a lot of pressure, like a lot. And so that's kind of the thing for me. But I don't think we're going to win out anyways. I think it's just an unbelievably tough schedule. In an ideal world, man, someone said, I think too, in an ideal world, like we got the number 1 seed locked up after week 17. The week 18 game is the game that we unleash all the backups, man. That's a nice Jarrett Stidham game.
Stiddy.
And, maybe the Chargers got a lot to play for and they beat us fine and you just regroup and you go that way. But I don't know. I get weird and like superstitious about those kinds of things. So that's why I wanted to ask.
I love
That's a good question.
Martin saying we sound like that SNL skit years ago with the Bears guys.
Yeah.
Bears. Talking about losing, man. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Minimum
okay.
8, Pete. Yeah. I love those guys.
I got a question for you guys, though. I texted about it. Dude, is the Chiefs' kingdom crumbling? And is Broncos country going to reign the AFC West? I put out this reel. Thank you, Mark, for commenting on it. I definitely want to get your thoughts more on just the state of the AFC West and the AFC in general. But, man, Mahomes is kind of looking a little old, man. He doesn't necessarily have that same mobility. I know he might be hurt, but sometimes, man, those injuries can catch up with you. Dude, he completed like 41% of his passes last night, throwing hospital balls all over the place, just getting his guys concussed, laying out interceptions. Thank you to everybody who trolled some of the Chiefs shows with me. That was a lot of fun, Kodiak. But dude, like I'm really feeling like this team is set up to go on a nice run in the division. And Bo Nix, he's just better than Patrick Mahomes right now. It's a strange conversation that people don't want to have, is that Patrick Mahomes is playing awful football, man. And I think he is one of the main reasons why they haven't been able to close these games out in the fourth quarter. He just hasn't been good. So, I'm curious what y'all think about that.
I don't know, man. Like, it's a lot of fun, like shitting on the Chiefs, obviously, after all the years that they got to be able to do the same to us and the dominant. So, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I love seeing them be terrible. But I think in reality, like if you take the emotion out of it, the real reason that well, first of all, you have to understand that like every team, every dynasty has a moment where they just kind of fall off a cliff. I mean, you look at the first dynasty of the Patriots, they kind of were, I mean, they were still making playoffs, so they were still decent, but they really didn't do anything for like a decade until they ended up winning again and then having a couple more, another dynasty after that. The thing about it is like, I think Patrick Mahomes is absolutely pressing. He's definitely not playing well, but man, dude, his offensive line is horrible. And I think it just goes to show that like, it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. If you are terrible on the offensive line in terms of protection, you're just not, you're going to be, you're going to be set up to get killed and not look good. And in addition to that, like, he's got decent weapons, but Travis Kelce looks like he's just thinking about Taylor Swift the entire game, literally. Like he's just not at all locked in. So it's a big transition year. And I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. I'm going to troll as much as I can. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think I'm ready to just like bury them moving forward. But what is nice, I will say this, what is really nice is that the fear factor that the Chiefs used to cause teams is just not there anymore. And I remember that happening with Brady the first time. Like everyone was like, man, I don't want to play the Patriots. And then we were like, who cares? Like it's the Patriots for a long time until they ended up having another one. So that's really big too. But man, as we've seen, like people in the teams in the NFL can turn it around, and they've played a lot more football than everyone else over the last 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. I sound like I'm defending them. So maybe this is like a good other side of the story to have. And in addition to that too, man, like they've consistently had, because they're, finished first in the division, the hardest schedule, like the most difficult. They're always playing the best teams. So that goes into it as well. So yeah, they've been bad this year. It's awesome. I love it. But I'm not ready to like jump to conclusions about Pat Mahomes being done quite yet, because it wouldn't surprise me, and I hope to God I'm wrong, but it wouldn't surprise me if he played at a high level for another decade.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. Like on a lot of things, Mark, like they are down to their like third, fourth string offensive lineman at pretty much every position. I think Humphrey is the only one that's still like not injured. That's an actual starter on their offensive line. But I mean, the Chiefs, they're not what they once were offensively, but they haven't been since like 2022. Okay. 2023 and 2024, that was not the Chiefs offense that we were used to seeing. And while, yeah, it's cool to see them regress, like, I don't know, if this continues into next year, then we'll revisit this conversation and we can, happily whatever. But yeah, it's just years of poor drafting. It's years of, just a lot of things. I think they just don't have that same fire anymore. It's a lot of things that's finally catching up to them. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think Mahomes specifically is like done. I think anybody who, tried to put him in legacy arguments, like, I don't know. A lot of people I've seen on Twitter have said that Mahomes is the GOAT. He's the most talented to ever play football. Get out of here. You should be banished from legacy arguments if you actually believe that. But, I don't know. I'm just not ready to say they're done yet. Like you, Mark, if this continues into 2026, then whatever. We'll revisit it, but let's see how everything shakes out.
Yeah, no, for sure. They had two things that always was going for them, which is like, and this is what the Patriots had too, is that lore of just like, oh, we got to do something crazy to beat this team, so we're going to do something, and then they end up doing something stupid and just handing it to them. That's what, like, so many teams did the Patriots. People did that to Kansas City. And like, let's just be honest, the Chiefs' kingdom was built on like the biggest house of cards of like refs help I've ever seen in my life. And so like once that one card got pulled, the whole thing came down, in my opinion. And Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback. He's a great football player. Andy Reid is a fantastic coach. Everybody seems to love him. His mustache is gross, but other than that, he seems like a great guy. But people aren't scared of them anymore, and they're not getting like every benefit of every single whistle anymore. And those two things, we talked about this yesterday. Me and Mark did about the Raiders. 2 years ago, we were drafting 12th. The Raiders were drafting 13th. We take Bo Nix. They take Brock Bowers, who's a great player. Obviously, he's phenomenal. But like, we built our team different than the Raiders did. We built it inside, then out, and we didn't go for the sexy positions and like all these. Like, that's not where we put our resources. And Kansas City was so always constantly going for the Clyde Edwards-Helaire or the Worthies or whoever, instead of like, they're like, we got Chris Jones, who's, in my opinion, their second best player of that whole dynasty era, whatever you want to call it, and Kelsey, and they had Tyreek Hill. Once Hill left, they were able, it was miraculous what they did last year to string those wins together, but they had the help. Now they don't have the help, and they're not winning the close games. Now they're pressing. Now Andy Reid's making mistakes. Patrick Mahomes making mistakes. And, the shine has come off. But, yeah, I'm not going to doubt. It's going to be interesting. The one thing I heard today that I thought was a good point is the Broncos, the reason why we feel so good about it is this feels like the beginning of a run.
Yes.
Because Bo Nix is young, Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, R.J. Harvey, all these people, right? We're on the come up where they are Andy Reid's old, Kelsey's old, Chris Jones is old, Patrick Mahomes getting older. There seems like they're on dipping down. So that's where it's kind of, I don't ever doubt them. I have a question and Giddy Up later about it, but that's the biggest thing I think about Kansas City. I don't think anybody's scared of them anymore. Even yesterday in that 10-10 game, when you figure Houston looked dead in the water. Their offense couldn't, as soon as they were getting pressure, they couldn't do anything. And what does Andy Reid do? He panics and goes for it on fourth down when he absolutely controlled it. It was so stupid. And that's the thing that people did to them that gave them wins. And now they're doing it.
Yes.
So
it was a ridiculous decision, man. In terms of them making the playoffs, Shy, I mean, even if they win out and finish 10-7, they pretty much don't have any of the tiebreakers with any of these other wildcard teams. So I think the odds are I think they're under 10% right now that they make the playoffs. I think that's something like that makes sense. But sorry, that topic took a little while, but let's get into the hold your horses or giddy up, Jeremy.
All right, let's go. Let me do, let's see. All right, let's just piggyback on that. I'll go to Kodiak here. After losses by both the Chiefs and the Ravens yesterday, New England is now our biggest concern.
I would say, as far as who I'm concerned about, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty worried about New England, but I wouldn't say they're our biggest concern. I think the teams you don't want to play against in the playoffs, you got to realize that New England's missing Will Campbell and Jared Wilson on the offensive line. I don't care if the game's at Gillette. I don't care if the game's here. Our D-line is just flat out going to win us the game. That's just the reality of the situation, especially if those guys are not healthy by the time we play them, if we do end up playing them. So I wouldn't say that yet. I know they're on a pretty good run, but A, they're not battle-tested. B, they're not winning the Super Bowl. Good quarterback, great coach. I mean, great quarterback, great coach. But the rest of the pieces really still aren't there. I'll tell you the teams who I think we really, really should be scared of are the teams that match up well with us, the Texans and the Chargers. Don't want to play them. I don't think anybody should want to play them now. So I hold my horses on that one.
Interesting. Okay. Let's go. I know how Mark's going to answer this question, so I'll give it to you, David. Pat Bryant, not Troy Franklin, has a brighter future in the NFL.
Giddy up. Giddy up. Absolutely. He is so tough. The slant god 2.0. I want to see Sean Payton start to target him, like Mark said, more than Troy Franklin, man. Maybe even more than Cortland Sutton. But I think his ceiling is a number one wide receiver in this league. And yeah, I really wonder how bullish Sean Payton is on him. We'll find out this offseason because we might not necessarily make the move people want at wide receiver to fill out some other positions. And a lot of that could be because of belief in Pat Bryant. I want to see him play more outside. I just want to see him go up against some of the better corners too, in the NFL. I want to see him go up against the best and see how he performs. So, Troy, he has always kind of reminded me of Kenny Stills. Can he be Kenny Stills for us? And I think he absolutely can. Can he be Brandon Cooks? When I have my orange colored glasses on, he absolutely can. But I think I feel really good about that Kenny Stills comp. You don't necessarily want him to be your number one or number two, ideally. But Kenny Stills is a really great 3. I think
Seth earlier compared him to, hopefully he could get to Emmanuel Sanders, which if he gets to Emmanuel Sanders, then I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Sanders was an absolute beast. He was underrated in my opinion.
I think he's very similar to Jerry Jeudy, but without being a little bitch on the sidelines all the time.
That was one of my thoughts is like,
and Jameson Williams is another comp too, but
Jameson Williams,
yeah,
but he's totally like Jerry Jeudy, man. Like he's good at getting open, especially in the short to intermediate routes, but he's not a little crybaby if he doesn't get a lot. In fact, he's the opposite. Like that's what I've actually liked about Troy the most is he's always locked in, man. His effort's always there. Like he brings a positive energy, you know, and good or bad. So kudos to him. But yeah, he's way better than Jerry Jeudy, in my opinion.
Well, it's like inconsistent hands, check. Like always open, check. Like an absolute like tear off the field as far as like always dramatic. No check. He doesn't have that part. And that's why Jerry Judy's Brown.
Drops a lot of balls.
Right. Inconsistent
big check. Yeah,
he
exactly.
does block though.
Yeah, but the big difference is that we took one over CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. The other we took in the 4th round too.
Exactly. And
very true.
And anybody like thinking about that, like people remember Troy Franklin's a 4th rounder, Pat Bryant's a 3rd rounder. So, I mean, both of those look like good picks, you know, right now for sure. So, my last question here from Mark. RJ Harvey is RB1 not only for the rest of this season, but for the foreseeable future.
Ooh, that's a really good question. I say giddy up on that.
Let's go.
Just because I don't have a reason to think that they're not going to commit to him. Because here's the thing, man. Like, until he proves that, like, he's absolutely not going to be a workhorse running back, and I don't think he's proven that he can or can't be yet, they're very invested in him. Like, Sean Payton loves him. Not just by taking him in the 2nd round, but like how he talks about him. And the thing that's been really impressive with RJ is that he's grown in an aspect of his game that I didn't even think he did a lot in college. And that's, you know, catching the ball and pass protection and all that kind of stuff. Like you see him, you grew a lot there. So you got to think that he's going to be able to do it as a running back. But I love the toughness, like the contact balance was showing, the tough runs, and the vision is only going to get better. Like it's still, you know, he still wants to cut it outside. But I think so, man. I certainly do, because I feel like Sean really wants to have a Kamara in a sense of like, we're going to keep you on the field all 3 downs. You might catch it. You might get burnt running, but the versatility that would bring would be massive. Because now it's like you still know Jaleel's on the field, he's probably going to get it. Tyler Baday's on the field, he's probably going to get it. So I think he really wants to have just a full workhorse. So yeah, I think so.
Yesterday was the first game I saw where he didn't look like he was thinking as much.
Exactly.
It felt like he was just attacking and breaking tackles and doing his stuff. And that was where I was like, that's the guy I remember seeing in college when we were doing the draft process. And I was absolutely thrilled when we drafted him because I was like, okay, I've seen this dude can be it for sure. One thing that I saw today, I saw JFM talking about RJ Harvey today, and he was like gushing about him. And he was saying that's a testament to the way we bring in those type of guys and those type of players. He's a former quarterback. He hasn't even played the running back position that long, and he doesn't have the wear and tear. He's built for it. Like his legs, quadzilla, he's insane. He's got speed. He's got vision. Like there's no reason why this guy can't be an absolute beast. And I think we're seeing like the very, very like tip of the iceberg with him.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that JFM, who also I love the fact that he's calling everybody like that when he's like the one guy who hasn't got paid, and he's 100%, you could tell he's bought in. He's 100%.
Yeah.
We're Broncos. And that's a great sign, because if there's anybody in that locker room who could be like, well, I'm waiting to get mine and this and that, it would be him. And he's not like that. And I love the fact that the defensive players who had to pick up the offense for most of this season are all in on the offense. They're all in on Bo. They're all in on RJ, all in on these young guys. And now when the offense is starting to like pick up for them, it's just like there's no you and us. It's just everybody's like one big unit, and I love that. That's why this team could go as far as they want to go because of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one last question. This could go for anybody or everybody.
Okay.
Week 18, if you have the option and it comes down to you letting LA win to keep Kansas City out, because that's the tiebreaker situation that they need, what do you do? And let's say you haven't lost yet.
Well, what's
And
the
it doesn't
situation
hurt
with the
you.
Broncos?
It doesn't hurt you.
Losing doesn't hurt. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
I'll give you
doesn't
two
hurt.
options. This one doesn't hurt you.
Okay.
You're already, this is a meaningless game for the Broncos. Do you let the LA Chargers win? They make the playoffs, or do you beat the LA or play a normal game, maybe beat them? But then if you do beat them, Kansas City gets in.
I say you phone it in. Like, the most important thing for me going forward, for us, I think we were talking about a few weeks ago, you and me, Mark. The most important thing was for the Chiefs to miss. Like, I would 1000% have taken the the 2 seed. When we theoretically were still in that conversation with Indianapolis. Which, speaking of which, holy cow, that might be a disaster for them. But
they're not making the postseason.
Yeah. But if it was different and it was like, all right, you got to win to keep the 1 seed, then whatever. We'll play the game. You don't want to send that message and be like, we're scared of them, But if it's completely inconsequential, absolutely, fuck them. Absolutely.
Exactly. I'm with you.
Absolutely.
Do you sit the starters and give them basically 2 weeks off in general? I mean, I think that's kind of the first question.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Use rust as a weapon.
That's interesting.
That would be that is a monkey wrench in there. It's like, do you want 2 weeks off? That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. I think that like what I would do personally, man, is I would do it no differently than like I wouldn't play that game any differently whether it meant the Chiefs get in or the Chargers get in or whatever. Like if we were playing the Titans. Right. And it was a meaningless game. Like I would play it like that. And then however it unfolded. I don't think you can go in there and like try to do something on purpose, but it would be really fun if we, and I don't know if I would actually want to not play our starters. I think I'd probably bench like Zach Allen, PS2, like a lot of the defensive guys that, and I'd probably play Bo in the offense a little bit. But yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think that you would lose a game on purpose to try to keep Kansas City out. Especially, I don't know. It was funny because earlier, Kodiak, you had said that the teams that you were worried about were the Texans and the Chargers.
Yep.
I'm surprised that you said the Chargers because the Chargers right now, with the way that their offensive line is beat up, it looks like it's going to remain beat up.
Like, yeah, I think personnel-wise, that is a good. I mean, personnel-wise, it's a good matchup for us, but we have struggled a lot against the Chargers.
Yeah.
The skin and bones, just the way that team is built, it's built to counteract how we've built our team, okay?
Yeah.
And I know they don't have Slater. I know they don't have Alt, but, we saw it week 3. I know they're not the same team without Alt, but still, it's a team with a strong defense. It's a team that, they play physical, and, we struggle against physical teams, even if they don't have the same personnel. But, yes, they do scare me quite a bit. Like, not as much as Houston, but yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm still scared of Buffalo. I mean, they're a mess in a lot of different spots. Like, I think we should be able to get good pressure, and their defense is like buttery soft lately. But, dude, when I watch Josh Allen play, I literally see Superman. That guy is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to kind of avenge the
We'll shut him down. We'll shut him down in Denver.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I mean, here you feel a lot better about it here. So, David, what do you think, man? Sorry, I didn't let you respond.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, I would probably lose that game. Something sweet about Kansas City just not making the playoffs, man. They can say, well, I guess they made them with Alex Smith and stuff too. So they've made it over 10 straight years. But yeah, I don't really care too much. I think that Sean would probably still play the Stars for a little bit. Because, 2 weeks is a long time off. And didn't we have something similar? I'm trying to think. In, was it 2012 or 2014? Right?
I don't think
it wasn't
so.
2014, I don't think.
It wasn't 2015. It wasn't 2012 or 2014?
Oh, wait, we didn't have the bye in 2014, did we?
No, we did, but we had the 2 seed that year.
Okay, because didn't we have a couple weeks off and then we played the Colts and it was just
And it was like John
both of our
Fox was getting
coordinators
fired. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and both of our coordinators were already like accepting jobs elsewhere, which
Yeah.
So I remember what happened. I remember week 16, we lose Monday Night Football against the Bengals. And then in week 17, we play against the Raiders, which at that point was basically a bye week whenever we had Peyton Manning as a quarterback. So, yeah, I guess you could say we had 2 bye weeks. But then John Fox, he goes to Chicago, and then Jack Del Rio takes the job at the Raiders. Then we come out against the Colts and have probably the worst game plan I've ever seen. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Colts just
it was bad. Speaking of, that's kind of a good segue. That's kind of a good segue. I got a question. I'm curious to ask you guys. If Vance Joseph is getting job interviews and it's during the playoffs and you're Sean Payton, would you tell him no, you got to wait until after the season?
I would,
because I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit. Like, I think the NFL needs to implement a rule to where coaches cannot interview until the seasons are done. Like, if you hire a coach in January versus the second week of February, it's not going to be a big deal.
But but here's the thing. They're always all about like trying to get the bad teams good and the good teams bad. Like, they want like everybody like, always doing this. So they're like, you're punishing the bad teams for like not being able to get their stuff in order, and they're having to wait for it. Like, I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. Like, it screws up teams.
But as soon
that
as
are
that makes
going
sense,
for it.
because it's like, okay, so you're saying like if I don't know, the Titans were like they were to like almost get first dibs essentially, but like there might be a lot of coaches that are like, I don't want to freaking coach the Titans anyways, and then it ends up being or you end up just kind of like settling. I don't know. I think it's terrible, but I'm curious. I'm curious what you guys think about that, because that's one thing that I was really happy we didn't have to worry about last year.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that we wouldn't need to.
Well, hopefully we don't. Hopefully we just give him a nice raise, make him our third assistant head coach or whatever it is, and keep everybody here. If Sean Payton's making $20 million, you can pay Vance Joseph 6 or 7 or whatever those guys are making.
I almost get the vibe. That VJ kind of really like he loves it here.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
It's home for him.
Yeah.
And I feel like unless it was the perfect situation for him, I don't think he would just like take another job. I think he realized that like if you go to a bad organization, you're in a bad position, like you're going to fail as a head coach. So maybe he's one of those guys that's like, again, unless it's a perfect situation that would make the most amount of sense for him.
Yep.
I don't think he would actually.
The only job I could see him interested in this year would be the New York Giants job, because you would like to think they already got the quarterback figured out.
Mm-hmm.
But you talk about the Raiders, Titans, some of these other teams, man, they're just such dumpster fires.
Don't you think the Giants would pick like an offensive coach though? Like
I think they should.
Yeah.
I think they should.
But like I think with the idea of having Neighbors and Dart and Scadaboo or whatever, you kind of already got the nuts and bolts of your offense figured out. So why not just try to unlock the guys on the defensive side of the ball and rebuild the culture there? Because they have talent on the defensive side of the ball. They just can't do anything.
Abdul Carter's falling asleep in meetings, right?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
The other team that resides in New Jersey had also like high weapons for them, and they absolutely wasted them year after year because they didn't know what to do with it. So I don't know. Like, to me, it's like when Sean came in and he drafts Bo, like now we're like the offensive coaches get swallowed up. Even if you get a good offensive coordinator who like helps Dart and does all that stuff, he's gone. And now you're having to constantly like refill that role. Where if you have an offensive head coach, that he's not going anywhere, and then you can kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love the offensive head coach philosophy. That's what I always prefer. But I think, again, Davis Webb, his connection to the Giants franchise, I think maybe you could, if you're Vance Joseph, you try and sell him on, I'll get this defense operating like an elite defense, and Davis Webb is going to unlock this Giants offense.
And that's when you pull out all the Walmart gift cards.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's when I tell Davis Webb, go do your thing. I'm sick of hearing about him in the comments saying how we need to have him calling plays over Sean Payton. I'm so sick of that. So go.
He's been great
Davis
though.
Webb. Yeah, I love Davis Webb.
Yeah.
But Mark, I realized I didn't answer your question. I don't think you want to screw over someone and be like, hey, you can't interview until whatever. But, it's kind of a balance because you're not screwing over someone by like telling them, hey, you can't do this until whatever. But, they want to get their coaches, they want to get their new regimes in the building as quick as possible. I get it. Like if I were the Titans, I'd want to hire the dude as soon as I possibly could to start looking, more time for trying to turn your franchise around, more time for draft prep, more time for free agency. But so there's just kind of got to be a balance. Like I don't think Shanahan blew the Super Bowl in 2017 or because he knew he had that 49ers job. I don't think that was on his mind leading up to the Super Bowl. I think it was like, all right.
He did blow it, but
well, yes, that's true. I don't think he like,
but he didn't need to. Yeah.
Sorry, the perks are kicking in.
I could see Vance being like, "Hey, everybody already hates you enough, Sean. Let's blame it on you. Let's say you can't. I don't want to take this job, but I don't want to publicly. So you tell me I can't interview for this for 3 weeks out or whatever, and then do it. That would be the way he should manipulate that. Because Vance is such a nice guy, and Sean is like doesn't give an F about it at all. So
I feel like the only job, and David's not gonna like this, but I think the only job that Vance Joseph actually, I think should take if he was offered it, and would actually do a good job as a head coach if actually offered it, is the Colorado Buffaloes. If Prime never left.
Oh
man,
dude, that would be pretty cool. Like having Vance come back to coach the Buffs eventually. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Cordell Stewart has also expressed interest in wanting to be a college coach. But
is he coaching at all? Cordell?
No. But I'll tell you what, Vance will probably make more from Walmart money than at CU. That'd be my thought. But dude, I would love it if he coached the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd like to see Cliff Kingsbury, side note, in New York. I think he could really I think he'd do a good job with Jackson Dart, but he might get him killed like he got Kyler Murray killed too, so who knows?
Dude.
It's just it goes to show you how like that everybody always wants to just advance him to the next job. Just because you're a good coordinator doesn't mean you're going to be a good head coach. Like certain people are just good at the overall, and some people are so good at like the X's and O's. Like Josh McDaniels should never be a head coach, but he's a freaking good coordinator.
Unbelievable coordinator. Yeah,
right. So, and I mean, Wade Phillips, you could say that too. Vance has been that so far. I'm not saying he can't be a good head coach, but he wasn't the first time around for various reasons. But that is one thing. It's like, I always want to know, I'm sure most of these guys, 99% of these guys want to get the head coach label and do that. But it's also one thing to say of just being like, I could live in the same place and just like the coordinator for Kansas City's defense, Spagnuolo. He was a head coach for the Giants after he had won a Super Bowl, and he was decent, but now he's not getting a sniff like ever again. And I don't, because he's older, I guess, and he's defensive coach, but like, yeah, I think he's happy being he's racking up rings over there, or had. So
yeah, I watched an interview with him like a year or two ago, and I think he was like, "Hey, man, I would love to be a head coach again, but if it doesn't happen, then whatever."
Yeah. I like what Seth Lloyd's saying with this. Not gonna lie, I've always liked Vance, but he grew up under Wade Phillips. He should carve his legacy creating the best defense the league has seen. Yeah, I like that. I'd be a big fan. I would definitely be a big fan. Yeah, Eagles up with 2 minutes left, guys. I don't know if you're keeping track of this, but this has been a disastrous game. We've had Jalen Hurts throw 3 interceptions, lost a fumble. I think Herbert's thrown an interception and lost a fumble. Herbert sacked 7 times. Just crazy.
Sounds like somebody's regressing.
Jalen Hurts made history tonight, though. Did you see that? The history he made? Jalen Hurts made history tonight. He's the only player, since they kept track of stats, that threw a pick and lost a fumble in the same play.
Holy cow.
Oh, he threw a pick and lost a fumble.
He threw a pick. The guy that picked him off fumbled, and he picked it up, and he started running, and then he fumbled.
Oh, my gosh. I need to find that.
And then the Chargers got it back. So, Yeah, I was playing against him in another league in fantasy. He literally got -4 on one play, but it was so funny because it's like that might never happen again. I mean, that's got to be a crazy circumstances. But yeah, he made history, so that was he's legendary in my book.
Damn. That's
You know what? I gotta change, Mark. We gotta beat LA week 18, dude, because I'm sick of getting Harbaugh'd. I'm sick of losing to freaking Jim Harbaugh every
too.
single time with Sean Payton as coach, dude.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's something that bothers me, and it would be so funny if it was a meaningless game for us. We played our backups and we beat them with their starters and to keep them out of the playoffs.
Dude,
Like,
I
could
think we
you
could
ima-
beat them. We
I would
could beat them with
troll
our
them.
backup.
I would troll them for the next 15 years. Like, remember that one time Jarrett Stidham and Adam Prentice as the starting running back kept you guys out?
Dude, Adam Prentice, 200 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Clinton Portis game.
Jarrett
Just
Stidham
straight.
and Sincere McCormick just ran all over
Oh
you.
yeah, dude. Yeah, we signed him. Is he better than Tyler Bidet just out the gate?
Sincere
No,
McCormick.
but he
Yeah.
had some pretty good games. Like,
He's a
actually
pretty
had
good
some
running
pretty
back.
decent, good games. Like, if you look at it, but he's small. Some people were thinking he's going to be a big back. He's another Jaleel type, but
No,
or
he's
Harvey.
RJ. He's RJ.
he's
size.
RJ's. Yeah, he's RJ's size.
Yeah.
So he could spell RJ. If these guys, if our offensive line ends up really figuring out how to block for this, like for that type, McCormick could be a great like change of pace, like come in and give you the exact same style if RJ needs to get spelled. So
Yeah.
I think that's a smart move.
I think similar to Elijah Moore, like he won't be activated or he won't play unless there's injuries, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that we at least have another body on the practice squad. Did they announce who he cut?
Oh, I didn't see.
Dude, did we cut the corner? Reese Taylor?
No, Reese is on
No,
the
he
53.
played.
I
Yeah.
don't
Didn't he
know.
play
No,
yesterday?
he's still.
Oh, he was
he's still on the
inactive
53.
yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know who they took off of the
Off
practice
the
squad.
practice squad?
But instead of Reese, they cut Wallow.
Yeah,
brought
that's
Wallow
what it
back
was.
down
They
to
waived
practice
Garrett
squad.
Wallow. What if they cut Caleb Lohner?
Well, they
They
already
just
cut him.
off the practice squad. No,
Wait, was he?
Yeah, he's on the practice squad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but what if they cut him from the practice squad to make room for Sincere
Oh,
McCormick?
yeah, no,
That would
be,
piss me off.
yeah, that would be annoying. That would be really annoying, actually.
This guy's a
Plays in a
project.
draft pick. You're seeing this shit through, bro. You hit the bong when you made this pick. You're seeing it through, dude. I don't care.
That's right. Now, do you think if it was week 18, we already are in the playoffs, let's say we're solidified in our position, and the Chargers are probably going to make it, like, we can't really keep them out if we beat them. Do you think Sean would not give them anything, just play super vanilla everything? That way, if we see them in the playoffs, you got something for them? Or do you think that they already know us so well that you don't even need to do that?
Good question.
I don't know. Yeah, it'd probably just be vanilla stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you throw up some stuff, but ultimately it's a division game. Like, they're going to know your tendencies pretty well anyway. So, yeah, I don't know.
I just have this sneaking suspicion. I could be totally wrong, but I just have this feeling Sean has like, he's just constantly like, ooh, that worked really well. Okay, I'm just going to keep that on.
He actually has
But-
some good trick plays thought of that. He
Well,
just hasn't
not
called
trick,
yet.
not necessarily trick plays. He's trying everyone that doesn't work so far, but I just feel like every time, sometimes like we get, up tempo's going good. Oh, we're doing that worked every single. Okay, let's just hold on. Let's put that over
Yeah.
here. We're not going to do
For
that
sure.
anymore. Like, I just have this feeling he's got like the last 20 minutes of practice. He's like, okay, these are the plays we're saving for the playoffs. Like, I don't know why, but
I think that there's a lot of looks. Like, dude, like all the fullback dives were given Apprentice, the little leak outs were given Apprentice. Like those are purposeful things where it's like he's gonna have some plays come off of those.
Mhm.
So don't be surprised if you see like a fake fullback dive or something, or
Dude.
a fake dump out. But I don't know if he's
Dude,
gonna change up a whole.
Dude, they got no answers, dude, when A.T. Perry gets put on the field. And I have no answers for him.
this wouldn't be a
No.
horsepower hour if his name went on. the
Dude,
field.
it would be
dude.
funny though. It would be funny if like they ended up deactivating Lil Jordan Humphrey for this game, like they did Estime last year in the playoffs, and they elevated and activated A.T. Perry, and he just that was the secret weapon. It would be like this show would go absolutely viral, absolutely viral.
Yeah. Imagine,
We'd be able to retire off an A.T. Perry legacy game.
Yeah.
didn't Bidet get 2 touches in that playoff game too? Imagine A.T. Perry gets like, I don't know.
Dude, if he gets 1 touch, dude.
Yeah,
we're freaking
imagine
out.
he gets like imagine he catches a touchdown.
Oh my
Dude.
God, to win the game, bro.
Dude, Mercedes Lewis, he'll be active, right? Maybe. I guess hopefully we get Atkins back, but dude, Mercedes Lewis touchdown. It's got to happen. He hasn't scored touchdowns since 2023.
I was thinking they were going to call one up in the red zone for him.
I was hoping.
Yesterday.
But at the very least, week 18, you go and get Mercedes Lewis and A.T. Perry their touchdowns because that's what's needed to unlock the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Touchdowns from both those guys.
That would make sense.
Remember Shanahan, he saved like Howard Griffin till the Super Bowl. He got like 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, and then he like made a huge play to get us into the Super Bowl the year before. Like he was primarily a block the whole time, and then he gave him his stuff in the biggest moment. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. I could see him doing that. The one play yesterday where I was upset at Troutman, and then I like thought about it for 2 seconds, and I was like, never mind, is when he got completely like rolled by Max Crosby. And then I was just like, come on, Troutman, block somebody in your life. And then I'm like, Troutman's never blocking Max Crosby. You should never even been in that position. And then they threw Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah.
Then they threw Mercedes Lewis.
Strong arms. They literally show him on the thing, and he's just holding him like, what are you going to go?
I know. It felt like a lot of the times, it felt like the Raiders were very jumpy at the line of scrimmage, like trying to bat a lot of balls. And I remember I'd see our guys just go like this to their defensive linemen all game long, like put them into air jail.
It's totally true.
Little kitty cat.
Air jail. The
cat's like this, the cat's like.
Yeah.
What did I do? Last week, I want to say like that one play that we were shouting out to Evan Ingram, that one in overtime where he took it and got 41 yards or whatever. I want to just the one little bit of that was awesome by Bo is not only did he like change the play to that and wait for it, but he threw it over 2 defenders. And that was a play that was the type of a throw that had been getting batted down all season long. And he's made that adjustment. And I forgot to make that little point, but that's one thing that I've noticed is they haven't had as many batted balls in the last few weeks, which that's another thing about Bo Nix is like, he's definitely works on his stuff. You know, the feet look better. That looks better. That's what you got to love about that kind of guy.
Stays off social media.
Yep. Except for horsepower. He's watching that.
Yes. Well, we know Sean Payton watches Horsepower Hour.
That's right.
That's the only reason A.T. Perry's in the doghouse right now.
Those internet shows, man. You guys love your internet shows, don't you?
Dude.
Right. He's like,
Herbert almost took that sack right there. That would have been disastrous. Are you guys watching this, man?
Never bad. Oh, yes. One thing I never mentioned throughout this entire hour, 23 minutes, is Sean Payton today said, we need to get Marvin Mims involved more on the offensive side of the ball. First thing I responded to that tweet with was, you could have literally copied and pasted that quote from any Sean Payton presser like over the past 3 years. Like, I'm sorry.
yeah.
So it's every week for 3 years.
The fact that he said it, I guarantee you 10 touches from Marvin Mims this upcoming week. 10, and then that's it. Just to like shut everyone up, kind of get ahead of it, and go right back to it.
Oh,
that would be nice.
He gonna feed him.
That would be nice.
All right, guys. Do we think the Chargers make this kick?
Oh, shoot. Is it coming down to this?
4th and 1, 12 seconds left.
Extra.
Are they down 2 still?
They're down 3.
Oh,
I think they make this kick. Yeah, Cameron Dickers nails, dude. Like, I hope I cursed him, but he's so good, man.
But he's a Charger.
He's nails, but I was about to say, don't underestimate their ability to charger.
How far of a kick would it be?
I personally think it goes right down the middle.
46 night hash, and y'all see that?
And his pipe game down the middle.
Yep, right down the middle. We got OT.
Well.
Oh, one little thing about the Packers upcoming. I just want to say we are stacked with the Packers playing the Bears, then us, then the Bears, which is like, and they're battling it out. Yeah, but they're like battling it out for first place. So it's like, is this like, are we an 11-2 trap game? like, you know what I mean? Like they have to worry about next week, and they adjust. They can't show what they want to show for next week on us either, because it's like they're so worried about the division. That's more important than this game is. So like I just thought that was an interesting way the schedule was kind of hit.
Yeah. I think we win. But the Packers are a good team, obviously. But I'm just not going to pick us to lose a game out, really at all right now. And Jordan Love is not better than Bo Nix.
No, he's not.
And
Agreed.
and we should be able to stop Micah Parsons. That's how I feel about it, dude.
It's Josh Jacobs that scares me. When's the last time Josh Jacobs?
Dude,
hasn't
that
played
guy
well
owns
against
us.
Yeah.
He literally is like LaDainian Tomlinson was to us growing up. Every time he plays us, he kills us.
And our defensive backs, they've looked good, but like PS2, Riley Moss, KD, like Jaquan, they're gonna have their hands full. They got Watson, they got who's the first rounder that they picked that everybody loved? Golden. They got some speedy freaking players, dude.
Yeah, and Jaden Reed is coming back for them too.
Yeah. So
that's going to be a fun matchup with our secondary, dude. Christian Watson, somebody has to cover him when they put him in the slot real well, but we got the guys to do it, man. We're very lucky they're without Tucker Kraft.
They still got Musgrave. So
yeah, Musgrave's good.
Hasn't Musgrave done like nothing in the NFL though?
He's been a tight end
like
too.
if he was a Bronco, he'd be our second best receiver tight end.
Okay. Yeah.
From a stats standpoint.
But he's still talented. And I saw him make one play yesterday, so he's there.
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team. It's gonna be a really fun matchup. I'm actually really looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
It's a good measuring stick.
You know why we're gonna win? Because we had all these close games in 2015, and then we played against the Packers in 2015, and we absolutely blew their doors off. Same stadium, not the same scenario because it's later in the year than that 2015 game was. But I'm going to be there, and when I've gone to Broncos games in the past year and a half or since the beginning of 2024, they have not lost. Granted, it was against the Titans, it was against the Giants, it was against the Colts last year, and it was against the Browns on Monday Night Football. So all those games, they were stressful. Every single one of those games was pretty stressful, but we'll pull it out.
And it was with your old nose, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Can you breathe like on a whole new level now?
Actually, I can't because there's still so much internal swelling. But week or so,
it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Dude, let's go. Well, guys, I think I'm going to shut this thing down before overtime. Real quickly, guys, go around, plug your stuff. We'll start with Mark.
Yeah, you guys can follow me, Marcky Sports Denver, on the YouTube, Marcky_sports on Twitter. I usually have a lot of fun on Twitter too. Been trying to post more on TikTok, but I'm just kind of giving up on that. But anyways, we're going to do a lot of deep dives on the Packers, man, because last week it was like, how much can you really deep dive on the Raiders? So I'm really excited about this game and get some of the content out. So, yeah, check it out, man. Also, obviously follow all the channels that you see on the screen here. And go show Miles some love too, man, at his channel. And it's escaping me right now. What's the channel called? Crushing It Show on YouTube. Yes.
Sure.
Kodiak.
Yeah, so I am Kodiak Broncos on YouTube and TikTok, and I'm starting to post on Instagram too, except I don't really like posting on that platform. I know David's killing it on those, so while you're checking out my TikTok, go subscribe to David on TikTok as well. But yeah, I do Denver Broncos tonight, and I'm going to start that again here pretty soon. I don't feel well enough to talk for probably an hour by myself, but when I'm with these amazing people, they make it easier. So I'll start doing that again for those of you who are in the chat and curious. And yeah.
Beautiful. Jeremy.
Yeah, Broncos Unbridled on YouTube, and I do post games with Mark, and hopefully we got a win 11 in a row. That would be fantastic. I would love the Packers at home. The fact that we haven't lost at home in a long time, we got the Mile High magic back.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing I have always known growing up is like you come to Mile High, you're take home, the L with you or whatever. But let's keep that going. So,
dude, no doubt about it. Guys, please subscribe to all my friends. Links in the description, all of them. If you haven't subscribed to David Talks Broncos, what are you doing? Get in here. And, we're on our way to overtaking the world domination with Horsepower Hour, guys. So thank you so much for joining in. And hopefully we'll be back to talk tomorrow or next Monday after the Broncos hopefully get their 11th straight victory. Until then, go Broncos.
Broncos.
Peace.
He's grabbed and he's going to be sacked.